What is going on, guys? Corrosive Bullet here, and today we're gonna get a little evil up in here. Today we're gonna be talking about the Zamasu fused deck in set 5 of Fusion World. Ah, man, everyone is talking. Before I get ahead of myself here, this deck is fantastic. This leader is awesome. What he is doing is crazy good for blue. He's got a lot of extra support since he released in set 2. And today we're just going to kind of showcase all of my matches. I've been going up the platinum rank with this guy, and the results have been actually really crazy, to say the least. I've had some really good games where like I didn't struggle at any moment. I've had some games that came down to the wire. This deck has been a lot of fun to play. Now, people will probably vilify people like me who would put themselves in a spot where they are going to run this guy on the rank ladder. And I do have to say, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. So let's get into the profile. So obviously we know that Zamasu Fused is a defensive leader where you go down to 2, you pay an energy, you discard 1 card from your hand, and if you're at 2 or less, that you're able to just regen your life constantly. Depending on how long you're able to stall the game out for, you might get this ability off 3 times, you might just get this ability off 10 times, like you never really know depending on your matchup. Now for the deck itself, there's a couple options in here that are from the past like couple sets. So I don't think we've really touched Zamasu since set 2, maybe set 3. But obviously we have the standard package. We got the peel-off loop, which is just insane in this deck. It's insane in every blue deck, but it's especially insane in this deck. We got double cantrip with Trunks and Marin. Marin is going to be our searcher of this deck, basically. So basically you scry the top of your card. If you don't want it, chuck it to the bottom and then draw another card from the top. Allows us to kind of see the pieces that we want to see more efficiently than just playing cantrips. Then we run the Gotenks package. Obviously, this Gotenks allows us to swing into our opponent while also in the later game being able to get draw power that we sorely lack after we awaken. So this Gotenks helps us with that front, which obviously we run the Trunks here, and we run the Draw Goten. The Draw Goten's not bad because obviously it's basically a cantrip that you can play early on in the game. If you want to get aggressive in the early game, you can swing with him while also drawing a card and facilitating your hand. If you play him later off of the Gotenks to get the draw power, odds are, depending on the deck that you're playing against, they may not even bother with this, and so they could actually leave this open for you to get an additional swing for you to combo pieces into and get some extra damage in. Then we are running... Then obviously we are running Gohan's. Gohan is he helps with the board clearing. We got Videl here, which helps with recursion. We got the Zamasu that we still run because obviously he's a sticky body that can be hard to get rid of against certain matchups while also facilitating a draw for us in the late game. And then we got standard stuff here with like Zeno and Sinister Sickle and stuff. The things that are new that we're incorporating into this deck is obviously we are running this 4-cost Zamasu. If we're playing this before we awaken, it's generally just to facilitate extra aggression to our opponent, not necessarily for the ability itself. We could lose this guy, it goes into the drop, and then obviously we can just get this guy back using this Goku Black. Now, what makes this tech very crazy is the fact that on turn at 6 energy, you play this guy, you swing, get this guy back from the drop, you're awakened, ideally, so you play this guy off of the swing here, and then Zamasu goes up to a 30k defensive leader, which is really hard to get over for a lot of decks. That basically means that if your opponent is going to try and go for game, they have to start comboing stuff in, and that really does just slow your opponent down. Even if they're able to get a hit in or two, more than likely them having to do that requires them to combo cards, in which case that sets us up to potentially go for game within the next round or two. And then as a surprise entry, I threw in a couple of these set 5 You Are Number 1 Vegetas. This guy is strictly only being used to get 3-cost cards back. So if we combo all of our Gotenkses, if we combo if we need like some extra stalling potential with like Galactic Donuts or removal for Sinister Sickle. Vegeta is 10k combo power that allows us to kind of get these cards back. That's why we're only running 2 of these, because we're able to kind of get any of these cards back either off of the Goku Black or get them off of this guy later in the match. So pretty cool tech. And then obviously Videl, again, Videl's also able to get Galactic Donuts back if we absolutely need to. So that's the deck profile. So let me know what you guys think, but let's get into the games. All right, so the first match of this video is going to be a showcase of probably my favorite match out of all of these. This match was absolutely insane. So we're going up against Yellow Vegeta, and Yellow Vegeta is a potential problem deck against Zamasu, just because both decks are more or less kind of just controlling the board and just mitigating each other down. So this is a very long match. I think it goes for quite a lot of turns. It goes for 16 turns, which is just insane. So basically with Zamasu, all we're kind of doing in the early game is just controlling the board where we're able to control the board. Defend where we can, prevent our opponent from taking our life down too fast. And again, we're just controlling the board. There's no like real rush for us to whittle down our opponent in any particular way. Like here, I feel comfortable with like bringing him down to 4 because it's just he's early on in his like it's early. So for us, him getting 2 energy back here like isn't going to hurt us too bad in this early game. So, and obviously we want Goten to be in the drop. So we decided to take this one for obvious reasons. Here we start getting into a little bit of an issue that most blue decks still couple with to this day, and it's the fact that we have 2 separate blue metas of either 7 or less in hand, or we need to be at a certain mill in the drop. And so no matter what blue deck you're playing, like you're always going to have a conflict of interest when it comes to cards that you're playing, and that's what we kind of have here. We need 7 or fewer cards for these for us to get a lot of what's in this deck out onto the board and get their effects off. So for here, we're kind of just swinging with what we can, and we're only playing this Zamasu for just the sheer aggression of it. This means that he has to give us extra cards. It has to give us super combos or 2 cards out of hand. Like it's basically just kind of pushing our opponent, and he kind of holds us down. He really does just kind of keep us down here. He starts to go on a freezing rampage with the 4-cost Gokus and stuff. And obviously Boo is still a really good card in this deck. It's a card that we can't interact with really, so we kind of just have to roll with it. So once again, we got so many cards in our hand, we need to start comboing to kind of put up the aggression. And we decided to freeze down the Goku just to get cards. We're already stacked up in our hand. So there's not really much that we can really do in this particular matchup except just go on the defensive and just control the board. I don't think he's going to play another 4-cost just because he's not going to play another 4-cost just because there's not 2 things on board to freeze. So right now we are in a little bit of a struggle because we can't swing with the stuff we have on board. Our hand is really stacked up, and we're not even seeing our 6-cost Goku Blacks. So once again, we just control the board, remove all the troublesome cards on the board, and we have all our super combos, so we just play super defensive. And our opponent did a fantastic job of actually like just keeping his hand up while also like putting in the aggression on us. So this was a very fun match just overall. I really enjoyed this match. He goes in for the Goku to freeze our 4-cost down again, which is a little unfortunate. So now we're at 6 life. And so I have to resort into just taking care of things. So I think we played we play the secret right here. Bouncing the freezing Goku back on the board. We're trying to force him to use cards out of hand, so we got him to use some cards, which is good here. And now we can just swing into his face and he's just going to take it. So despite the fact that we're playing a much slower game in this particular match, we are actually getting some stuff done here. Still got all of our all of our super combos. And I had a fear of the double striker, but I didn't think he was going to necessarily play it. I took the risk. And here he plays a card that obviously we can't really interact with. And he's just going to freeze our board down. But now we can just remove. We can spend this time and remove his board. We can't really utilize our board, so like I'm perfectly fine with just bottom decking the stuff that we have on our end. And all we have is super combos, so. And we take this, go down to 2. We have a bunch of super combos, so I'm not too afraid. And we finally get our first Goku Black. And this is where it starts getting a little scary. So I'm going to slow this down just because it does get a little insane. So he is going heavily aggressive onto us, which is crazy to me. So we block this hit. He swings for us again. We decide to go down to 1. And honestly, this was probably the worst thing I could have decided to do, because he could have played a cantrip and just went all in, and we would have been in trouble. But what is insane about this is that we literally top deck from our life the 2 best cards in this particular situation. I didn't know it then, but this was by far the best thing that we could have pulled. So he passes his turn. He doesn't even play anything. So he's got 3 energy up. And so we have to just go for it. So we go for the Goku Black Zamasu play. We're going to swing with our Goku Black. He's going to have to give us 2 cards at least. And now we have 2 30k swings that we could swing at our opponent. So obviously he's going to time rewound and give us another card. And then we swing with our lead. He does the exact same thing. Does a death ball to get out of it. And then we swing with our Zamasu. He gives us his 3rd card. And he basically puts Vegeta back in active. And he's obviously out of it. And now we have to go all in. We have to get a 10k combo from Videl. We have to get a 10k combo from Videl. And we have to combo in. But he's got nothing in hand. He's got all 0 combos in hand. So we just got over the combo power he had on board. It was an insanely close game. Very, very close. This is one of my favorite matches that I've played in a long time. And it's for a leader and a deck that I rarely ever play. I rarely see yellow Vegeta on the ranked ladder. So I was very happy to go into this match, and I was happy that we were able to come out on top at just the skin of our teeth, which is just crazy to me that we were able to come out on top. Very fun match, but this is kind of the expectation when playing Zamasu. So, but yeah, let's go on to the next one. All right, so this next match we went into Starter Daima. Starter Daima can be either of the Daima leaders. It can actually be a little problematic for us due to the fact that Glorio exists. Even if we're awakened, and we get the -5 to our leader's power, like it's something that their leader is able to swing into us. So yeah, red is like relatively good into blue right now, just because blue can't stay as defensive when they have to worry about your leader power going down and having to commit more combo power and resources to protecting yourself. So again, early game is just really strange. Really, like it's control. Like I want to stay at 8 life as long as possible. We don't necessarily want to awaken him too much here. If I remember correctly, I believe this game he plays every single one of his. I think he played every single one of his 1-drop Whis, which is just funny to me. So like yeah, there's Whis number 2. So obviously that's a little problematic for us. So obviously we have to take some damage here. We can't just be comboing everything we have out of hand. So we're back up at 7. We keep the Zeno, because obviously Zeno is going to be helpful for us. Yep, and then obviously we play Videl, so that we can get some draw power with our Marin. And again, we just play defensive where we can. We know Videl is going down, so there's no sense in us really. There's no sense in us really protecting Videl. So we just kind of let it happen. So at this at the pace that we're kind of working, we're just trying to stay at the same like life level as like what our opponent's at. So we Sinister Sickle to get rid of the troublesome cards off the board. And here comes third Whis. And third Whis is obviously scary, or it's like just seeing these Whis is always problematic. So, and now he starts getting his defensive stuff rolling. So this is where he can kind of stall us out just a little bit, at least in terms of our leader swings, because he can just block every leader swing now at this point. So for us, we decided to just play Vegeta and just Sinister Sickle third Whis off of the board, because it's just crazy. Now he's going to start awakening. He is now awakened. We defend the leader swing with our Vegeta, because otherwise we're going to lose that combo power anyway. So protecting here just makes sense. He then plays Jiren, which gives us agency to finally play Zeno, because this is a good board to like remove for us. So we just 6-cost Zeno. And we just start comboing. Just hitting where we can. And we're trying to get cards out of his hand. We don't want him to be stacked with a full hand, because obviously the more combo power that red has in their hand, the scarier that they can end up being. Especially with Glorio, especially with Margarita, and just being able to power boost. So he starts playing his secret rares. And this is where I think the fault of Daima Goku kind of lies in this particular build. Is like, yeah, we're gonna take these secret rare hits, right? We're gonna take these secret rare hits. We're just gonna push our opponent and just start laying into him. But we don't want to Zeno this guy off board, because if he's able to get multiple UIs down, then we can at least if he's able to get multiple UIs down, then we can kind of Zeno that away and make him really hurt for that. So we top decked Galactic Donuts, and obviously he can't use this. So now he's forced to play another one, which is perfect for us. We have another 4-cost. I believe we had another 4-cost. Yeah, we have another 4-cost Zamasu in the drop, so Goku Black is able to get this out no problem. So if we lose this guy, like, it's not that big of a deal. And he doesn't swing into us, which makes our job just a lot easier. So obviously we'll charge. We're Zenoing off that board. And we can do some recursion while we're at it too. So got Galactic Donuts back just on the off chance that he played another secret rare Goku. Then we have a means to kind of get around it going into the next turn. And we were able to, he basically took some hits. He took some hits and then he comboed out, so his hand is a little thinned out. Videl, we don't necessarily care about at this point. Like, it is what it is. And we defend this because obviously we can Galactic Donuts for draw power, and we can still play 6-cost Goku Black. So or did we do Go Tanks? Maybe we did Go Tanks and we kept the Galactic Donuts. Yeah. Oh, we did Galactic Donuts. Okay. Oh, and to pull Galactic Donuts. That's right. That's right. I remember. All right, so obviously Leader Goku is not really able to do much against us here. So now Daima Goku is really starting to flounder. He has to really control the board here. This is where I think he probably should have played this a little bit differently, because you're getting rid of 2 cards just to do this, just to get rid of 1 card. Like, I don't know if that was worth it, per se. So here, we're swinging for 30. Because there's no reason not to. We're going to have two 30k swings here. We're going to bounce the Rumshi back, and we don't necessarily care if he swings into us, because it's whatever. And he protects this swing. And then we're still gonna go to 30 and protect ourselves from another couple swings. So he's down to 1. This is a very vicarious situation for Goku. So he finds his third one, which just is what it is, right? Like, to us, this doesn't matter because we can just Galactic Donuts, freeze it down, get cards back in hand, and then we still get a swing with this Gotenks. So this is where I always say that, like, everyone in set 4 was talking about the Secret Rare Goku being super powerful and broken, like it should be hit to a degree with either a limit or a ban or something. And I'm just like, no, like, it's not that. Like, it's strong when you have multiple on the board, but you have to let your opponent have multiple on the board. Blue has no issue with this. And playing Secret Rares back to back to back to back, yeah, like, you stunt your opponent from being able to whittle you down in damage, but you're also slowing down your own progression because I'm just able to play around it completely in this matchup. So, but obviously here, he blocks it. We get our draw power, which is very cool. We play Galactic Donuts because obviously we get to draw twice. We swing leader. He takes the negate. And then I think we decide to be a little cheeky and nasty with this. I think we just peel off loop and just go all in with peel off. Yeah, we did, which is just dirty, man. Yeah, so obviously he surrenders there. So peel off loop is disgusting. Like, peel off loop I think is a lot more dangerous than Secret Rare UI Goku. So another fun match, but let's go into the next one. All right, so this next one we're going against Super Boo. Once again, I said it in the Yellow Vegeta showcase, but Yellow is actually very hard. I feel like Yellow can be a little disruptful for Zamasu to actually have to deal with, especially Boo, because Boo has his hand destruction abilities, which makes it a little bit harder. So like when it comes to like Yellow Vegeta plays more of the control. It keeps its stuff alive. It allows them to kind of freeze down your stuff while also being able to, keep their board intact without, Blue's removal effects. So for us, this can be a little bit hard for us to get over. Obviously, the tech with Boo is usually to like never swing into lead, because swinging into lead allows them to basically allows them to get off their like a second swing, which allows them to swing twice. They can draw twice on their awakening turn. So for us, we're just playing the control. Like, obviously we're not going to swing into him. We're not going to play anything to swing. So we're just going to control the board. Let's not let him swing into this. We'll defend with stuff out of hand. And then obviously we got Gohan next turn to kind of remove this board. So obviously he's milling, but he chose not to swing at us, which he probably should have at least tried to swing with us. And obviously we take him down to 5 and we just don't swing. Because if anything, we want him to swing into us, not our stuff on board. And doing this was smart. Resting down the Gohan to allow us to, do that, or to not swing into us makes sense. It allows him to play this, which allows him to, swing into the Gohan, get some cards out of our hand. But in this particular matchup, we don't care at this point. Like, he's gonna take it, he's gonna awaken and take this, or defend it. Yeah, we're just going to play Gohan again. We're just going to remove him off the board. Getting rid of both of these, if he wants to remove this, he's going to have to Final Explosion us to be able to, remove our board in this fashion. So, which I believe he did. Yeah, he did do that. So that was the right call, I think, for him. And obviously we're low on hand here, but like now we're kind of able to just do our thing. Do our Goku Black loop. And basically just whittle him down. Like, there's no reason, like, like he's going to take one of these hits regardless, and now he's down so far in hand that, you know, it's going to really hurt him. Boo without a hand is, like, not scary at all. And obviously he gives up there. Like, what was in his hand? Yeah, he had double strike into 3 costs, but he didn't have a Babidi, and we were low on hand anyway, so playing Babidi wasn't going to... Playing either of those wasn't really going to do anything for him. So, obviously he was just so on the back burn at that point that he couldn't really, like, match up to our pace at what we were doing. Unlike Boo, who needs to be awakened to be able to do anything, Zamasu can kind of just play the game without having to awaken. And that's what makes Zamasu just really scary overall as a blue deck. It's just, yeah, he doesn't need to be awakened to do his thing. He can be unawakened as long as he wants to get stuff done. So let's go into the next one. All right, so let's talk about the leader. Or not the leader. The mirror, I meant. So Vegito. I've said it before, I've said it again. I know a lot of people do not like the idea that, like, Vegito is not as good as people make it out to be. People are very defensive of this deck. And I understand. Vegito is a fun deck. Just being able to swing for 40k and, like, having, like, that aggression when you play that deck. I get it. It's a fun deck to play. But when it comes down to it, like, I think Zamasu is just a better blue deck compared to Vegito. Now, this is a very cool build, though. I will give this player some credit. Running skillless is an interesting choice. Now, I wouldn't say it's great because it does nothing for your drop, really. So that's, like, the only thing about this particular build is that, like, it really just hurts your build, your deck building. Because you want to have cards in your drop so you can get those 40k swings off. And, like, comboing from your hand, like, is not necessarily, like, ideal. Especially when you're playing Videl and you're like getting cards back, right? But it's cool because it allows for the aggression of what this deck kind of wants to do. And when you get to 20 cards and drop, you get to 20 cards and drop. Like, it's not, like, it's inconsequential in this particular build, and I can see that. So obviously we're not gonna worry about his life. We're not gonna swing into his life, because obviously the board is going to be a bigger issue for us than not. So I'm opting to kind of take these hits because eventually he's going to awaken us, and it's going to be harder for him. Vegito is one of those decks where the longer the game goes on, the harder the game actually becomes for him. So at this point, like, he's got no cards in drop. We're on turn 9, so, like, he's just a 20k leader at this point. He's just a 20k leader at this point. So, like, the scariness of Vegito, like, is not here right now. It's going to take a lot more cards out of his hand for him to want to get that 40k swing. So here we just kind of opt into, like, taking the hit. And we got our Goku Black, so now we can kind of just start going in on our opponent here. Did we get Gohan here? I think we got our second Gohan. No, we did not. So, because he was running the skillless package and a lot of 25Ks, I opted to go with this route because this means he has to combo more cards out of hand just to swing into us. And he's so thin right now. So, like, him, like there's not much he can really do here, right? So he Zenos us, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly okay if he wants to do that. But once again, we can just kind of do the loop again, and he's not scary for us. So we go for draw power because we don't have we weren't able to find our other 4-cost Zamasus, which just is what it is. And now he still has to contend with a board. He's still not quite there yet. But he's just getting cards back in hand. So yeah, and at that point, like, what's in his hand? He's got peel off. He's got another 3-cost Vegito. He doesn't have the 20 cards to be able to use the Hercule extra. He's got a super combo. So he just really didn't have anything that turn to really go into us and swing and take care of it. So really cool build. I mean, it's cool to do. I think it's cool to do the skillless package here. But when it comes, but some of these cards, like obviously the 3-cost Vegito, maybe even this Goku, like I think honestly you're better off like running like other things than these cards because again, like you played this Vegito twice and you weren't really able to do anything to remove our board. So so if you're able to, if you see this video and you played me in this particular match, just a little bit of advice. Cool build, just retweak it just a little bit to kind of facilitate the aggression that you're trying to go for. And obviously don't like let your stuff go in your drop. Don't protect, like either protect your stuff or just let them die. Don't thin your hand out so much to, like, you need to be at the 20 cards. You need to get 20 cards in drop. But that's neither here nor there. All right, let's look at one last one. All right, so for this last match, I have so many more matches just by going up the platinum rank ladder, where I got wins and some losses. Like obviously this deck isn't perfect, and there are some losses in this particular with this particular deck. Halo Coup is probably a deck that is a big issue into Zamasu, just because like they're able to play the control game just a little bit better than what Zamasu is able to do. Mainly due to the fact that like all they're playing is like 1 costs, and they also like can play the game without necessarily awakening. So, but Baby here is a very interesting matchup too, because we play super control, but they're able to just build a wide board like crazy. So the goal in this particular matchup is to kind of just outpace our opponent. We want to outpace our life to what their hand has, because we know that Baby has a lot of recursion in the particular deck. So we play Videl and we don't swing because we don't necessarily want him to awaken, but obviously he's going to have tools to be able to remove him off board. So it's like it's not that big of a deal for us. And we just take this because why like we're gonna Sinister Sickle this turn anyway. And again, we're just controlling the narrative. We're not gonna give our opponent an advantage by awakening them. If he wants to awaken, he's got to do that himself. And yeah, his hand is a bit beefier than ours, but we can kind of just outpace him a little bit. We'll take the 30k hits where we need to take the 30k hits, but then everything else is kind of just whatever. So here we're kind of just opting. To get some draw power. And just keep some draw power on board. Next, depending on what he plays next turn, like we can just Zeno, and it's of no consequence for us. And that's just a blatant attack, by the way. That was a blatant attack on. That was just a blatant attack on Peel-Off. Like there was no real reason to like just get rid of Peel-Off when we also had another 10k. Like that's just you know, screw Peel-Off. Peel-Off doesn't need to be here. You know, whatever. So yeah, here, it just kind of is what it is. We lose our draw by awakening early, but like it just makes it easier for us to combo, and we have to combo cards out anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for us. But now we can kind of just Zeno this board, and we can just remove this board. We don't need to swing into him because we're not getting any draws by doing so. So now he's awakening. So now he has less things that he can play because he had to force himself to awaken. He's going to 40. We have super combos, so, you know, it is what it is. And then he plays this and just combos it, which isn't like the worst play, but I feel like you could have like played something else and have played that next turn as well. Like, I don't know. Yep, so here we just start going crazy. Like, I'm not going to do anything to remove this Goku off the board. I just want to get cards out of his hand right now. So obviously we go for the Gotenks play so we can get some extra draw power going, and that's our turn. He's going to want to try and focus our board to an extent because obviously Goku Black exists. And that's not bad. Just getting rid of some cantrips by swinging into the cantrips. Like, that makes sense. Here I decide to take the hit because next turn we can just restand our life and like and like heal ourselves back up. Yep, and we're just gonna play. We're just gonna play the Gohan just to remove that Trunks, because, you know, whatever. And yeah, we're just gonna swing into his board, keep his hand down. He's gonna have a bunch of 30Ks coming his way, so there's no real reason. Now I did goof here, and he plays Ultimate Sparking. What I probably should have done was I probably should have swung with Goku Black first, and he would have had to freeze down this Gohan, but that would have been fine, because at the very least we would have been able to play out, you know, one of these cards more efficiently, right? So that is a goof up on my part. We put Galactic Donuts away so we can go back up to 3. And I will say, this was a closer match than I expected it to be. And I just let the Gohan go because, you know, there's no real reason to. I don't know why. So I got a little confused with there. He played Giru for nothing that he can do against Giru, right? So he just paid an energy for no reason, basically, which is kind of just a weird decision to make. I'm not quite sure what that was. So obviously, Ultimate Sparking is still a thing. So obviously, we learned our lesson and we swing with the Goku Black here. And we're trying to get rid of his board. We want his board gone. And we got plenty of combo power that we can kind of use. And obviously, now things can kind of start going. And we go for big peel-off loop because obviously we don't have many cards in hand. We want to and we want to get as many cards as we can back into our hand. And obviously we discard that so we can go back up to 3. And now we got all this combo power on board. So the only way he can really kind of get rid of this board is if he starts 10-timesing. And even then, he doesn't have a marker, so he's only getting rid of 1. There he goes. He got the marker back. And Glorio starts coming down. Glorio starts to become a little scary. Glorio is a scary card in Black. Especially if your opponent has marker and they can just draw off that. Yep, and we're just protecting the board, doing everything we can to protect the board. And he's so thinned out at this point that there's, like, I think we just decide to... I think we just go for board. And we did the exact same issue. We didn't swing with the Goku Black here. So obviously we weren't able to cheat this guy out. But we're still at 3 life, so we can kind of start swinging into our opponent. And I was more so worried about Double Striker. Double Striker here was going to be a much bigger issue than anything else that he could throw our way. So we decided to risk it. He's low on cards. We have a super combo. Plenty of 10Ks. Or plenty of combo power just in hand. So we're just going to protect our board. And then he did have the Double Striker. But this is where I got a little confused. Because, like, he could have swung at us, but we would have been able to get over it. And I understand he wants to clear board here. However, why he's swinging into Zamasu fused, like, I'm not 100% sure. Like he should have swung into this, but I guess he didn't, because, like, yeah, like, he should have swung into the 4-cost Zamasu, so we didn't have a board, because this Zamasu was just going to come back anyway. It could have just been an easy lapse in judgment, because you don't see this guy played too often, but he's still a good, decent card. He could still have use, and he probably just forgot what that card does. But regardless, it doesn't matter, because we top decked our next 6-cost Goku Black. He starts playing defensive. And he's probably just hoping that we don't got anything. And yeah, all he had was Double Striker in hand. So he let our board go for so long, and we had so many like high-cost swinging or high-powered swinging cards that it was just really hard for him to go into. So, but yeah, that was that match. That was probably the longest match we had out of all of our matches shown here. But all right, let's talk about the deck. All right, guys, so that is the deck profile and gameplay for Zamasu. Yes, I know it's evil and it's awful and it sucks to run this into the mirror, but I need to say it, guys. This deck is one of the decks that's been helping me get up the ranked ladder. It's great. This deck is fantastic for what it's doing. There's a couple things that you could probably change around in this deck to make it a bit more consistent. Maybe make it a little bit more scarier if you so wish. You could probably run a couple more of these if you wanted to kind of get this. Videl, you could probably run more Videls, but certain matchups, like Videl, is really easy to get over, so I don't like necessarily running Videl in this particular deck. But the Gotenks package, I think, is really good. This Zamasu card is insane if you're able to get the 6-cost Goku Black combo off with it. And just looping this back and forth every single turn is oppressive as hell. This card, I'm glad that this card is having so much like time again in the meta. Like seeing this guy a lot more often now is really cool. This is one of my favorite cards back in set 1, and he's still one of the better SRs in the game, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. The only thing that I might do another build of this particular deck and take a page out of Drumlin the Dwarf's book, where you basically use Sinister Shadows to restand this guy with the Double Striker Goku to play Sinister Shadows for free, and then you're basically doing like 3, 4, 5 of these swings, and just playing stuff out every single turn. So, thought about running a build with that too to kind of see how that pans out, but I will. If we decide to do that, let you know. But I'll put a video for Drumlin's. I'll put a video down for Drumlin's Vegito build with that tech, so you guys can kind of get an idea of what that is. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Sorry I've been away for a while, but we are back. And yeah, let me know what you guys think of the deck profile here, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.